60 Great Ghost Stories, read by H. Washington Sawyer. Tonight's story, The Approved, by W. S. Merwin. This one I was allowed to know. His face was a triangle standing on its point, hiding a parade of hollows. He was allowed to know other schoolfellows, and I was allowed to know him. Sometimes we pretended to a liking which neither of us felt, because it was approved, but no one could walk far on that surface. He was respectable at that age. His conduct at school was indeed better than mine, who was allowed to know only him. With my one-legged japes ill-timed, the delight of no one, like irreverent misquotations from a foreign language. Little shames for which I was not otherwise punished because of some undefinable privilege that hedged me around, like a correspondence between a parent and the authorities, which is a great pointer of fingers. But he made no awkward sallies, played the games, was not considered the most cowardly, in fact excelled at catching a ball, and in class answered as well as I did, with the hollows prompting him. For he too had a source of privilege. It was not his mother alone, who worked all day at a notions counter, suffered with her feet, and heaved herself up on Sundays in the choir to make solo parts in the anthems, her voice like an empty powder box. She was married to his privilege. She was its daughter as well, and while I knew her, she became its mother. I was allowed to visit their house. He was allowed to go where he pleased, and I was allowed to visit him in the dark, sagging, unpainted building, smelling of cats, where the grandmother sat in the kitchen year after year, clutching herself and crying, clinging to the privilege. For they were Death's family. No one contested it. Death visited other dwellings and other streets, but that was all in a day's work. He came back to them to sleep. Death was the grandmother's father, born in the old country, and she clung to him and showed his picture and told of the food he liked and how he missed his home. Then Death was the grandmother's husband, also born in the old country, and she showed his picture, so like the other, one man at two different ages, both of them clearly Death, both of them forms of the same presence, the same exaltation. It had brought the old country with it, a weight in a locked trunk on its back, and at night it stretched its legs in the house, and the windows rattled, and the cats clawed silently at the doors. And Death was the mother's husband, as she had not understood until too late. She never showed his picture. She brought up his two sons and struggled to turn them into repetitions of him. And so it transpired with the elder, who of the two seemed less like him, but who was still a child when he lay in Death's bed like his father and his grandfather and all the other males of the family except the one whom I was allowed to know, and the privilege washed over him like an arm of the sea. In Death's room, in which he himself had reverently suspended from the ceiling the paper airplanes which he had made with tireless care. They turned slowly above him, pieces of his memory. In Death's room, with its pictures of Death at all ages, and its lace from the old country, and its gray wallpaper. I was allowed to know the youngest because it was a nice family, and because of the privilege. Sometimes we imagined that we liked each other because it was approved, but we never came to trust each other, to laugh, to be content. He was not death, but one of death's only sons.